Wonderful. Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's event. It's HerStory Award September 2023, hosted by Women's Federation for World Peace USA. My name is Adia Lancaster, and I will be the MC for today's event. It is an honor and a pleasure to be with you this evening or this afternoon, wherever you are joining us, to honor three incredible women who are giving back and serving others in their community. I'm so excited to introduce them to you throughout this program. But I would like to also introduce myself so you know a little bit about me. Currently, I am living in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I am a mama of 3 young children under the age of 9, so quite busy, but also I am an anti-human trafficking prevention educator. I sit on the Southern Nevada Human Trafficking Task Force, and our goal is to train all of Southern Nevada when it comes to identifying human trafficking, especially now that we have 2 major sporting events coming through our town in the next few months. I have also been a member of Women's Federation for World Peace going on about 2 years now, and it has been an incredible experience, not just because the organization itself is amazing and phenomenal with what their mission is, but because of the women in my local organization who have just become wonderful sisters to me. And I've also been really familiar with Father and Mother Moon's work for many years now, and just so inspired by their heart for this world, to bring peace into this world, and their amazing belief in us as women to help foster that peace into our communities and into our families. Yeah, so I'm super excited for the amazing women you will get to meet. But first, I would like to welcome and bring up our lovely president for Women's Federation for World Peace, Mrs. Kayleigh Moffitt. Take it away.
Thank you, Adia. Wow, such a great intro, and I already feel like so warm and welcome. Yeah, thank you so much for your presence. It's beautiful. And likewise, I love the HerStory Awards. We're trying to do these every month now because I think more and more as we're meeting incredible women who are serving their community and making a difference, we're finding that it's so powerful to just stop and take a moment and appreciate them for what they're doing. Oftentimes, you know, our work can get overlooked. We'll be working hard and we're not doing it for the credit, right? We're not doing it for the acknowledgement, but it is important as women and women leaders that we take the time to appreciate one another. And that's what tonight is all about. And I wanted to just open with one of my favorite quotes from Mother Moon, which I usually read at these kinds of things because I just feel like it's the most powerful message for why women leaders are needed at this time. This is from her memoir, Mother of Peace, and she says, "Women have the magical power to create harmony and to soften hearts. The world of the future can be a world of reconciliation and peace, but only if it is based on the maternal love and affection of women. This is the true power of womanhood. The time has come for the power of true womanhood to save the world." And when I think about it like that, I think tonight we are honoring some heroines who are saving the world and changing the culture. And I'm so excited to be able to feature them tonight. I'll pass it back to you, Adia, and I'm looking forward to the program tonight.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kayleigh. All right. So I am honored to introduce you to the first awardee, Mrs. Rafia Hasina. She is the Vice President of Milun, Hawaii. Mrs. Rafia Hasina is a world traveler, unique storyteller, community connector, and entrepreneurial speaker. With a master's in philosophy and sociology, Mrs. Hasina has traveled to many places and explored many sectors of work, such as social research, education, women entrepreneurship, and health research. She traveled to still more places to engage in youth development programs, diverse community services, and volunteering in orphanages and sex trafficking prevention programs. She finally settled with her family in Hawaii, where she remains active in her community, volunteering and offering her talents to a variety of causes, including multicultural and interfaith work, youth programs, sex trafficking prevention initiatives, and serving on her neighborhood board to help promote a safe environment in her community. But before we bring up this amazing woman, I would like to introduce the lovely lady who actually nominated her. And she will give us a special message about how they connected. Mrs. Marie-Francois Mitchell.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Thank you for this beautiful introduction. My name is Marie-Françoise Mitchell. Yes, I live here in the Pacific since over 20 plus years, where we had a mission in the Marshall Islands, my husband and myself. We were asked to come to Hawaii, and it was my pleasure to have met Rafia several years ago now. First of all, through various meetings and seminar that we participated into, we didn't know each other that much, but we sort of attended similar places. And then ultimately, when Mother Moon presented her memoir, I really felt this is something I would like Mrs. Hasina to receive. And I felt there is a connection there through what I could feel from her. So I gave her Mother Moon's book, and we started to really communicate this way. Now, speaking about Rafia's personality, the first thing I can say is she is a de-stressor. If you are stressed and you are next to Rafia, you're going to be at ease. She absorbs it. I don't know where she puts it, but she takes the stress away. And here in the work she did throughout the world, I can imagine her position. Now, I'm going to insert a quote from Mother Moon here because I feel it really matches Rafia's personality. Mother Moon shares with us that our philosophy of living for the sake of others is a driving force behind our movement. It is fundamental that we should take care of those who are less fortunate than ourselves. And she also said that a wealthy person who is grateful to others and help others will create a wealthy community, nation, and world. And this totally encapsulates Rafia. Mrs. Hasina is all this. When we meet, the first thing she wants to know is, do you have a project? Are you doing something? So we share. She said, okay, I'm on it. I'll help you. Whatever it is, I'll help you. If my computer is not working, she calls me. She said, come on in my house. We can do it from here. And 1 month ago, August 8th, there was a big fire in Lahaina, Aina, in the island of Maui. Right there, she was on it as well. And today, unfortunately, actually, yesterday was this earthquake in Marrakesh. Both of us have friends over there. We communicated with each other. As we were preparing for this specific event, HerStory Award, we were already making plans to go to the consulate and meet the people from Morocco. So we don't even, this is how she is. And she doesn't take a minute to breathe. This is her entire, all her cells in her body are into serving and taking care of others. I will stop here, but I'm so happy that we could present her today with the award. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful, a beautiful story to share. Your affection toward your sister and friend, Mrs. Hasina. It reminds me, a song popped into my head this morning, and the lyric is, what are we waiting for? And with Mrs. Hasina, I feel like she is just right there, automatically in action, and she doesn't hesitate at all to move from what the need is and into action. And I think that's just such an inspiring and beautiful way to move in this world. And so I want to bring up Kayleigh one more time to read and present the virtual award to our first awardee, Mrs. Rafia Hasina.
Yeah, thank you. Rafia, we've been waiting to give you this award. Actually, we've been in queue. So I'm finally grateful that today is the day. And we are going to bring up the award here. We're going to mail all these to our recipients, but today we'll see them virtually. So HerStory Award is proudly presented to Mrs. Rafia Hasina on this day, September 9th, 2023. Thank you for your adventurous heart and for your commitment to actively serving your community in every place you have lived in the world. We honor you as a peace leader who lives by the logic of love. Congratulations, Rafia. We can all give her a round of applause. And at this time, we would like to welcome Rafia up to the virtual stage to be able to share her story with us. Welcome, Rafia.
Thank you very much. This is flowing to me now. Okay. Thank you for everything. This is so much honor. I really not much that how Mimi described me and you give me this honor. It is my treasure. It's my treasure. And good afternoon, good evening, and aloha from Hawaii, for everyone in the screen and beyond. Thank you, WP, for honoring me and Kelly and Mimi to selecting me. That's a very big meaning to me. What story? What is this about? It is about a woman's struggle or suffering or something very big accomplishment or success in her life. For me, my story is something I have learned, I experience, I follow. I would like to describe it. My favorite quote from Mother Moon. That's my favorite thing. And it is very described me very well. She says, the path of the last 60 years has flown straight to the target, filled with difficulties, obstacles, together with joy and success. It's very true, very true. You know that, like many others in the world, I suffered, I struggled, I experienced trauma, of struggle, betrayed, many more things, many more. But I always try to set me free from these difficulties. And first of all, I never look down on me, no matter what, who I am, where I'm from, what my ethnicity, what my language, who I am, and never give up, never, and always follow my heart. And the three things always triggered me and give me the strength to move forward. I was born with a physical disability that was hearing difficulty. I was born with that. I was bullied. I was humiliated. Pulled. Many things happened to me till my treatment is successfully done. My mother, phenomenal lady and very visionary lady with a very small education, she supported me. She helped me to get rid of my difficulty. She told me, never give up, do your best. All the time, follow your heart and move forward with your heart. This is my basic core value of my life, core value of me. My prayers with her. She's no longer in this world. I always remember. And that is, I move forward. And also, you know that I always respect family values and women. Just told, the Mother Moon quote, this is really true. The women have a magical key power to change this world. Women are phenomenal. They can change the world. They have this magic power on that. Because I believe in me as a woman, I always try to move forward with my difficulties, whatever in my life. I never give up. I never look me down. I never keep me small. I learn from my mistakes, my miscalculation, my failure. I always stood up, always try to focus on my financial freedom and set me free from my difficulties. I was blessed with two wonderful men. I was pampered, I was cared, I was loved. I lived two men in my life. Nice. My God is different, Both of my husbands had a long life. They didn't put me long life with me. I was depressed, heartbroken, and numb for a while. All of a sudden, I realized what I'm doing. What I'm looking at me and care about me only. There's many people in this world more miserable, and they're suffering a lot. They have difficult times.
There's a problem with the sound.
And then I started to engage
The sound doesn't work.
and
Can you put your sound higher?
with my decision.
Can we put the sound higher? The sound higher.
I think actually, Rafia, you're using Mimi's sound. Can you unmute your computer?
Maybe it's different.
Unmute mine.
No, I think Rafia is the one that's muted right now. And we're using Mimi.
No. It is okay?
Much better, thank you.
Okay. So that's my point. I realize myself why I'm not taking, God has some purpose for this life. Why I'm not taking this opportunity to serve the humanity, serve others, to take care of them. Because some small support touch make a significant change of their life. I decided to early retirement, and I did. But I was asking so many times, many more people asking me why I decided to do what I did. Whenever this all of the opportunity opened for me. But my answer was, when I have a good family, beautiful daughters, I can afford my meal and I have a place for living. Why I'm missing this opportunity? God gave me this opportunity. Why? And what more I could have in this life? What more I could have? So I decided to serve people and keep me more flexible to do so. Giving up easy, accept defeated easy. Look you down easy, but living a life with meaningful is a challenge. And I accept this challenge. That's my story. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Rafia Hasina, and congratulations for the well-deserved award and being our first awardee for this month. Thank you for all the amazing work you do, wherever you go in this world. All right, so I would like to introduce our second HerStory awardee for this month, Miss Lady Alicia Hamilton. Lady Alicia Hamilton is the founder of the New World Network, an international OTT, which stands for Over the Top, digital streaming and distribution platform broadcasting anytime, any place, anywhere in the world with internet connectivity. New World Network, part of the Universal Citizens Media family, is the home for TRN, the Revelation Network's faith-based programs, UCIT, the Universal Citizens Family-centric programs, and a growing roster of digital streaming broadcast providers, which reach over 100 million households worldwide on the internet and connected TV. New World Network broadcasts programs with narratives that support truth in media, thank you, and curates content that advances the liberation of individual mindsets beyond the constraints of mental incarceration, making a positive impact on people and the planet with purposes that benefit humanity equitably and fairly. Lady Hamilton has supported the UN SDGs as a global compact partner during her tenure as president of PAC-RED, which stands for Preparation and Awareness for Community Resiliency in Emergencies and Disasters, and as a writer and contributor for the United Nations Impactor magazine. Lady Hamilton received her doctorate in humanities from the United Graduate College and Seminary International, among other educational achievements, and has served in ministry with her husband as the First Lady of Philadelphia Community Fellowship, the Gospel Institute, and Community Missionary Baptist Church. Lady Hamilton lives in California. And before we bring up Miss Lady Hamilton, I would like to bring up her friend who nominated her, Mrs. Emma Reed, to say some personal words about Lady Hamilton.
Hello, how are you? It's my great pleasure and honor to introduce you to Lady Alicia Hamilton. When I first met her, I was going to an open house at a theater, which I really didn't intend to go to, but I thought, well, something told me I have to go there. So while I was there, I was walking around, I saw these ladies at a table discussing something very important. And I met one of the ladies before, so I sat myself down and just butted myself into the conversation. But there I met Lady Alicia, and I was really honored to do so because I realized they were discussing an event that really never crossed my mind. They were talking about honoring the 400 years when the first slave ship came to the United States, and somehow making it a happy event, something that the people had overcome. And I thought, wow, how are you going to do that? And they were talking about providing which, what do you call those? The songs and hymnals that the slaves used to use in order to help them each other, guide them away from their owners. So I was very impressed by that, but I didn't know anything about it. I just shut up and listened. And then Dr. Hamilton asked me to be part of this. I thought, well, she was the executive producer. And honestly, I learned so many things that I never was aware of. And I learned so much about her character. She was so resilient about this show because there were so many hurdles that we encountered, that she encountered. And she just let it slide off her back. And I said, wow, this is a formidable woman. Whatever she decides, she's going to accomplish it somehow. And During that time, we just really became friends, and I found out so many things that she was doing with her television work, with the network, which I hope you can learn more about. I also had the privilege of being witness to one of the sweetest love stories that I've seen in a really, really long time between her and her husband, who at the time was in a wheelchair because of a stroke. So I'm really honored to know this lady because she has been through so much, and it's been my privilege that she has made me part of her life, and that I was able to do some small things to help her out. So anyway, I would like you to welcome Lady Alicia Hamilton.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Emma Reed, for that beautiful message. I could just feel the connection and the spirit of you guys just touching and being just inspired by each other and bringing so much joy and inspiration to each other. We are excited to honor Miss Lady Alicia Hamilton, but I would love our president, Miss Kayleigh, to read and present the virtual award to our second awardee. Ms. Kayleigh.
Thank you, my honor. Lady Hamilton is a mover and a shaker and a powerhouse. If you have the chance to meet her, you will just capture that spirit and walk away feeling empowered. So it's our honor to be able to honor her today with this special Her Story Award, which is proudly presented to Lady Alicia Hamilton on this day, September 9th, 2023. Thank you for your commitment to serving and uplifting the global community by bringing positive imagery in the media that facilitates peace. We honor you as a peace leader who lives by the logic of love. Congratulations, Lady Hamilton. Let's all give her a round of applause and welcome her to the virtual stage. We would love to hear your story today. Welcome.
Wow, that introduction was so beautiful. I was moved almost to tears. It's so sweet. Thank you, Emma, so much, and thank you to the Women's Peace Federation for bestowing this honor upon me. You know, when you do the work you are called to do and you feel like you're led to do, it's not really work. You know, my life is waking up and seeing what orders God has for me today. I just do that. I just follow the Lord. And thank you so much for that beautiful introduction to Kayleigh, Grace, and Emma. Wow. My work was initially inspired by my son. He was very astute when he was little, and I saw him being able to manipulate the television without me being around, the television and the VCR. And I saw imagery that was being projected toward him that I knew I would not have any control over at some point. He was going to go to school, he was going to grow, and I would not be there to protect him from the messaging. And I asked God then, I said, if I can do something with my life, can I do something about this? Because it was really upsetting to me that they were using cartoons to put out this negative imagery. And so God granted that. Took 20 years and a lot of drama and adversity. But along the way, the Lord showed me that he was with me every step of the way. And if I just followed the word of God, that I would always get through adversity. And he would give me the desires of my heart, just like it says in scripture. My story is a story of faith and a story of peace and a story of obedience to God. And I don't regret it. Even through the things that were challenging at times, the Lord got me through it. And everything that I went through, what my late husband now, Reverend Dr. Alexander Hamilton, he used to call them TPs, tried and provens, that you get through things, and through those things, then you know that you can next time be faithful. And Emma, thank you for saying how I stand through things, because sometimes I don't know how, but now in this stage, after my most recent challenges I've been through, it really does roll off my back because I see God in it. And as long as I could see God in it, I knew I could get through it. Corinthians 10:13 talks about the Lord measuring everything and not putting more on you than you can bear. And he's always made a way of escape. There's nothing uncommon to man. You don't have to feel like a victim. And he knows you and he will not overburden you. And sometimes I would say, Father, you sure about this? You really think I can get through this? But I have this mantra now. If I couldn't do it, I wouldn't be going through it. So if I'm going through it, God's got me, that means I can handle it. I don't know how sometimes, but every time he has not failed. And so then I went, well, if I'm going to follow this, I need to know him better. And I was blessed to have this wonderful man of God as a wonderful husband, pastor, teacher, choir director, road dog on the road, shopping buddy, everything. My world was Reverend Dr. Alexander Hamilton, and he lived by the word and taught me well and encouraged me and mentored me. And he did transition before me last year. That was a tough challenge as well. He had been sick for a long time. But in the process, because I was seeking God first, he sent me my next teacher. And literally a week or two after his memorial, I found myself at the More Sure Word School of Theology with one of his colleagues from the university he taught at. So I was still in study. So now I'm surrounded still by saints, still studying the word, still learning more. And I just have to give glory, honor, and praise to God. I was born to a Christian family. Very fortunately, I don't know a day in my life that I didn't have the Lord. And now at this stage, as I've gone through my TPs, health challenges, most recently, the combat of overcoming cancer. I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. Found that out because my back was bothering me and I went to a chiropractor, and during the session, my spine collapsed and I was in a wheelchair for 2 years and immense pain, still deal with pain issues. I'm learning how to overcome that too. But in my back being broken, that's when they found the tumor and found out it was breast cancer tumor and not bone cancer tumor. And I mean, so much that I've gone through. Every single time God has seen me through. So during the pandemic, I was laid up going through chemo and radiation on my back. But what I did do was rewrite the network. I looked at the things that worked and the things that made sense. And now we are re-releasing that. And so I've always used media and technology for evangelism, for spreading good information. Because right now, in this age of misinformation and disinformation, we are standing for peace. The same messaging that divides us, we can take and turn it around and use messaging to bring us together, to bring healing and reconciliation. So on our platform now, I had the chance, like I said, even while I was sick, from here up, I'm fine. below here is another story. But from here up, I'm okay. God let me keep my senses, keep my wits, and now we are re-releasing the platform, inviting other like-minded people to join us, to use media for positive imagery. And I pray that God continues to allow me to do my work. So thank you so much for today. God bless you all. Shalom, Yamadim. Yeah. And I'm just really, really grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Lady Alicia Hamilton. So inspiring. I am right there with you when it comes to the power of media. And it's the tool, right? We can use it for positivity and peace and love and bring that to people, or negativity. And like you said, now more than ever, there's so much distraction and so much noise in this world that our children are exposed to. And I think just surviving we know even as adults how easy it is to be distracted by our phones, but for children it's even worse because they're still developing their minds, their brains, their belief systems, their values. And so it's so important to create an environment that will insulate them with positive values and moral foundation and joy and peace and love, and not all of that other disgusting stuff. So thank you so much. I'm so excited for the relaunch. I look forward to that. I hope we can all be a part of that in some way. And thank you. Congratulations for this well-deserved award. It's a pleasure to honor you today as well. And so with that said, I would like to briefly introduce our third and final awardee for this month, Norma Guevara. She is a woman of courage, a community volunteer, and artist. Mrs. Norma Alicia Rubio Guevara is a woman of courage, committed community volunteer, and gifted artist. Born in Mexico, she moved to the United States to marry her husband, where they have raised 5 children. When her children were in elementary school, she saw a need for parents to be involved. And so she began to volunteer her time and talent as an artist, creating and developing art lessons to support the students in their reading comprehension lessons. She was also active in the PTA and received much recognition for her work in the school. In 1998, Mrs. Guevara and her husband, Fernando, were nominated by their children's school as Parents of the Year for the National Parents' Day celebration. And the City Council also awarded them with a certificate of recognition. Mrs. Guevara is proud to be in Padres Unidos para Nuevas Escuelas, Parents United for New Schools, a grassroots parent group that advocated building new schools in the city of Southgate. Together with other parents, they were able to build 10 new schools, amazing, in the city to address the overcrowding issue over a period of 10 years. Mrs. Guevara was awarded the Woman of Courage Award for her activist activities in the community in 2016. As a woman of deep faith, Mrs. Guevara desires to love others by sharing her talents wherever she can. And before we bring up Mrs. Guevara, I would like to introduce you to her nominator, Mrs. Susan Felsenthal, with a personal message.
Unmuted now. You see all these paintings behind me? That's Norma's work. See it? Can you see them? Anyway, okay. Wow. The other ladies are amazing also, but this lady is also a very amazing lady. And what should I say? Yeah, I was participating with the National Parents' Day about 25 years ago, and looking for outstanding couples, not individuals, couples. And the school nominated Norma and her husband to be Parents of the Year. And ever since then, we've seen each other here and there all the time because we live in a kind of a small city. And in 2019, I invited her to come to the inauguration of the Global Women's Peace Network. And she came with our mayor at that time, Maria Davila. They came together and, were there. And they listened to Mother Moon speak in the Church of the Refuge Church. Anyway, recently we've kind of reconnected again. And then when I was asked if I had anybody to nominate, right away I thought, why don't you nominate Norma? So I nominated Norma for this because actually I didn't know all the amazing things that she did in our city here, especially the part about the schools. I heard about the Padres Unidos And I didn't participate, but her, Norma, and the other ladies, they built, somehow they built 10 schools here, 2 high schools, a middle school, 4 elementary schools, and 2 preschools here in this city. And how did that happen? Like a mushroom? No, it happened because people like Norma, ladies, mostly women, yes, wanted something for the children. And not just her own kids. Her kids are over 30 years old. For other people's children. For children to have good classrooms and, you know, good restrooms in the school, all that stuff. So I'm going to let, I don't know what you're going to do next, but that's enough for me to say about her. I'm really happy to be a friend of hers. It's a real privilege to be a friend. And yeah, thank you for, also I want to thank all of you for, wait a minute, you lost me. I want to thank you all for making this HerStory Awards. I know that they did this over the last few years, or I'm not sure, but this is the first time I nominated somebody. So, okay, that's all for now.
Thank you, Susan. We are so glad you obeyed that spark of inspiration to nominate your friend that you reconnected with, Mrs. Norma Guevara. And I would like to present and welcome up Mrs. Kayleigh Moffitt to read and present your virtual award.
Thank you, Dia. And, you know, Norma, Susan loves you so much. And I can tell, you know, just through her enthusiasm for you, the kind of person you are. So it's such an honor to be able to welcome you into our network. Your artwork behind there is just stunning, absolutely beautiful. And we are totally impressed by the work that you're doing in your community, the selfless work that you're doing. So we're going to bring up our award now that we can virtually present to you today. The HerStory Award is proudly presented to Mrs. Norma Guevara on this day, September 9th, 2023. Thank you for your commitment to uplifting and loving your community through your spirit of volunteerism and activism and your artistic talents. We honor you as a peace leader who lives by the logic of love. Congratulations to Norma. Let's give her a round of applause. And now we'll welcome her to the virtual stage. Norma, we'd love to hear your story. Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Mute.
First of all, I want to say thank you to Susan for the nomination, and thank you for the Women's Federation for this award. I see there is women that they do a very beautiful job, and I believe that when we have the love of God in our hearts, we try to do better, not only in our lives, but in the community. I come from Mexico, and when I came to the United States, and I see the needs that they have in the school, especially the teachers, because in the rooms there is like only supposed to be for 20 children. They have like 40 children in the room. So it's very hard for the teachers to work with that amount of students. So we help. I become a volunteer for the elementary where my kids are at that time. In the year 1993 is when I start volunteering. And also, I worked for 8 years. And during that time, giving my time and my talent, because I help the teachers, like making copies, helping with the meetings. And later on, when I learn a little bit of English, I even translate for the principal sometimes when we don't have somebody to translate for her. So I start looking at the hard work of the teachers, because our kids, parents, they don't understand that we are the first teachers of our kids, but the teachers, they are the ones that they spend a lot of time with them, like 8 hours, and they need our help. So me and another group of parents, we start working with them. And for that, they decide to hire me. So I work for Los Angeles Unified District School, and my job was to give art lessons, not only in the schools, but also like national and local and state level for the big conference for education. So I feel grateful for this country, not only for give me the freedom to learn and to grow as a woman, and but also for the opportunity to serve others for the good of the education. And also not only that, because we look at the needs that we have in the schools, we form this group of parents. So we decide to fight for new schools. Um, and during that time, I see the sometimes working with and the people who are in the politics. If we understand a little bit of how that works, we can change the way they think, and they can help us with the needs around our community, because that at the end of the day, we are the ones who put them there. So we work with the mayor of Southgate and the city council members, and then we receive the support. We receive the support and the legislation over there in Sacramento, and then the Congress lady who was Lucy Roybal at that time. She gave us a lot of support from the Congress. So thanks of that, we make like a dream come true, for our city, having more space and more quality for the education of our kids, not only for my kids, but for the kids. Right now, they are like having a better place because of this group that I was part. And also, I work with the police department and the domestic violence, giving like a motivation speech for the woman. But I do that because of everything I learned also in the church. I become a Christian like more than 20 years ago, and thanks God for giving me the salvation through Jesus God. And I work for the church. As a woman leader there for 6 years. And in that time, I think that sometimes we forgot that we don't have to be like in a bubble, whatever we learn, we have to share and share that information for good. So another woman, they can have, the the opportunity to learn how to grow, not only in the community, but in the spiritual way. So I thank Susan, because she invited me to this beautiful event where I have the opportunity to listen uh, Miss Moon, and now I have the book. So I feel blessed that I have that part of this wonderful lady who worked hard for the peace of the world. And in this moment that the technology is like around, and the kids and people are more like open to see a lot of things that sometimes they don't help us being like in the spiritual part, and knowing God is very important to maintain our lives and to uh, pray for all the people around the world, because we need more women, and we need more women like that they willing to fight for love and for peace and for better community. And thank you for this award. Very appreciate, and I feel blessed to looking at everybody. Congratulations, everybody, and thank you, Susan. Have a
Thank you,
good
Norma.
evening.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
I don't know why it's not working.
Adia, I think you muted yourself there.
I did. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much, Norma, for your beautiful heart and service to your community. You really took ownership of your community and became like a mom to those students and creating those schools and just seeing where the gaps were in your community and just moving to action. And listening to all of these incredible ladies that we honored today, I just really felt that you three definitely reflect the love of God in your hearts through your actions and your words. And that is the connecting thread. And we are just so honored to honor you this evening, this afternoon. We are grateful to know you and support your work, and cheer you on, encourage you to keep going and to, again, just stand strong in your faith, which is so inspiring because I know it's sometimes hard to trust that faith and to keep moving forward, but yet you still let God lead you, and you show that through your actions today. And so we're so honored again to have you as the awardees for this month of HerStory Award. With that, I would also like to invite all of you ladies to join Women's Federation for World Peace. If you have not, please visit the website at wfwp.org. It is an incredible organization to be a part of. You got a little glimpse of it here, what we do, who we honor, why we do the work that we do. And it's not just an organization, you are actually joining a sisterhood. And these incredible ladies, this is a network. We want to stay connected. We want to work together. We want to encourage one another, support one another all over the world. You know, with now, look at us, we're on Zoom, right? So we all are connected wherever we are at this moment in time and space, we are together. And I think that is just such a beautiful thing that we can use to our advantage and to grow in capacity and bring more sisters into Women's Federation for World Peace, because we, like Norma said, like Ms. Lady Alicia Hamilton said, and like Rafia said, we need more women leaders. And you ladies are wonderful examples of that. So let's bring on more sisters to come and grow this this movement of love and peace and joy. So you can also find the direct link to membership is wfwp.us/membership. And you can also visit wfwp.us/global friends. And our next event is the September 21st. It's the Global Women's Peace Network webinar. It is a very exciting webinar. I've heard some exciting news that will be announced during this webinar. So please make sure you mark that on your calendar and attend, because we are just getting started. Even though it's kind of heading towards the end of the year, but Women's Federation for World Peace is just getting started. This is really something that we want to continue doing and growing. So we thank you all for your time, for your dedication and your heart, sharing this time with us together. We hope to see you back. Don't be a stranger, and have a good evening, but don't leave yet because Grace is going to come back on. We want to do a group photo, okay? So I hope you guys were all inspired this evening. Thank you again for joining.